You know, just want to let you into an announcement of the United Nations. Invitation revoked. We're just hearing now the United Nations Chief Ban Ki-moon has withdrawn an invitation for Iran to attend these Syrian peace talks. It caused some controversy because, of course, Iran has its own checkered past when it comes to these issues. On the same day as $4 billion worth of sanctions on oil-related supplies have been lifted, and now Iran is sort of on a global shopping spree. Claudia Rosette says these two might be tied closer and more than you know. Of course, she has uncovered more abuses at the United Nations than anyone I know, at great risk to herself. Claudia, what do you make of this, where now the UN chief is saying, you know, not so fast, not going to happen, rescinded?
The U.S. actually really leaned on him over this. It was a terrible, stupid idea that he put forward to invite Iran. Iran eagerly accepted, and it was just wrong. This would have legitimized Iran in an arena where Iran has been a major cause of the trouble. So it's good that he reversed it, but it was terrible that he invited Iran in the first place, Neil.
He had said that the timing in the first place had to do with Iran agreeing to sort of police itself on its own nuclear operations. This is day one of that. They've got the first access to $4 billion worth of cash to go on a shopping spree. It is odd, the timing, but what do you make of it?
What I make of it is that the UN loves thug governments. The UN loves Iran. Iran sits on a whole slew of UN agency executive boards. It is chairing the second largest voting bloc in the General Assembly. It's all over the place at the UN. And as the U.S. makes any move toward sort of offering legitimacy to Iran, the UN jumps on it. Ban Ki-moon just took his cue and was off and running. Kofi Annan, the former Secretary General, remember him, of Oil for Food?
Sure. He's
visited Iran. He was the former envoy for Syria before the current fellow Lakhdar Brahimi, who was also a disaster, actually. But the UN is eager to jump on these things. The UN has no moral compass whatsoever. And the U.S. is displaying, I'm sorry to say, very little practical compass in this Iran deal. So this is the first good news on that front in a while, Neil.
All right. What do you make of Iran now in keeping to this agreement where it's going to sort of rein in its nuclear intentions? Some have argued that it just buys Iran time, and this theater notwithstanding at the UN, the UN knows it.
Neil, this is a replay writ large of the North Korea deal in 2005, where the U.S. eased up on very painful sanctions for North Korea. And what happened? A year later, North Korea conducted its first nuclear test. And that is the path we're going down right now, which is sanctions in the best of times are a leaky sieve. It's a very messy instrument. And there's a momentum to it. And when you start easing up on sanctions, that signals, it's very lucrative to get around sanctions. It signals to all sorts of players that there's now lots of money to be made. And we're already seeing delegations from Europe are going to Iran to shop around.
It is unseemly. It is unseemly.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
Right. Claudia, thank you. I'll finish that thought.
You're very welcome, Neil.
All right.
Sure.
Thanks, Claudia. Good seeing you again.